his car.
Operator, I've been dialing Murray Hill 40098 now for the last 3/4 of an hour, and the line is always busy. But I don't see how it could be busy for this long. Will you try it for me, please?
Murray Hill 4098. One moment, please.
I don't see how it could be busy for this long. It's my husband's office. He's working late tonight, and I'm here alone in the house. My health is very poor, and I've been feeling nervous all day.
Wingham Murray Hill 4098.
Hello.
Hello? Hello, is Mr. Stevenson there?
Hello? Hello!
Hello?
Hello, George.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Who is this? What number am I calling, please?
We have heard from our client. He says that the coast is clear for this evening.
Yes, sir.
Where are you now?
In a phone booth.
Okay. You know the address. At 11 o'clock, the private patrolman goes around to the bar on 2nd Avenue for a beer. Be sure that all the lights downstairs are out. There should only be one light visible from the street. At 11:15, a subway train crosses the bridge. It will make a loud noise in case your window is open, and she should happen to scream.
Hello? What number am I calling, please?
Okay, I am.
Make it quick, as little blood as possible. Our client does not wish to make her suffer long.
A knife okay, sir?
Yes, a knife will be fine. And remember, remove the rings and bracelets and all the jewelry from the bureau drawer. Our client wishes to make this look like a simple robbery.
Okay, I get it.
How awful. How unspeakably awful.
Call, please.
Operator, I've just been cut off.
I'm sorry, ma'am. What number were you calling?
Well, it was supposed to be Murray Hill 40098, but it wasn't. Some wires must have crossed, and I was cut into a wrong number, and just heard the most dreadful thing, a murder. Operator, you'll have to retrace that call at once.
I beg your pardon, ma'am. I don't quite
Well, I
understand.
know it was the wrong number, and I had no business listening, but these two men, they were cold-blooded fiends. They were planning to murder this poor, innocent woman tonight at 11:15, and we've got to stop them. We've got to.
What number were you calling, ma'am?
That doesn't matter. This was a wrong number, and you dialed it. And we've got to find out what it was immediately.
But, ma'am.
Oh, why are you so stupid? Look, it was obviously a case of some little slip of the finger. I told you to try Murray Hill 40098 for me. You dialed it, but your finger must have slipped, and I was cut into a wrong number. I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me. Now, I simply failed to see why you couldn't make that same mistake again. On purpose this time. Why couldn't you just try to dial Murray Hill 40098 in that same careless sort of way?
Murray Hill 4098. I'll try it again, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Murray Hill 4098 is busy.
Operator. Operator.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't try to get that number wrong at all. I asked you explicitly, and all you did was dial correctly.
I'm sorry. What number were you calling?
Can't you for once forget what number I was calling and do something specific? Now, I want you to trace that call. It's my civic duty. It's your civic duty to trace that call and to apprehend those killers. And if you want
How
to...
about I connect you with the chief operator?
Please.
Miss Curtis, will you come here, please?
Yes, what's the trouble?
Oh, somebody wanting a call trace. You got me.
Sure, which line?
17. Chief Operator.
Chief Operator, I want you to trace a call, a telephone call, immediately. I don't know where it came from or who was making it, but it's absolutely necessary that it be tracked down because it was about a murder. A terrible, cold-blooded murder of a poor, innocent woman tonight at 11:15.
I see.
Can you trace it for me? Can you track down those men?
Well, it depends, ma'am.
Depends on what?
It depends on whether the call is still going on. If it's a live call, we can trace it in on the equipment. If it's been disconnected, we can.
Disconnected?
If the parties have stopped talking to each other, ma'am.
Well, of course they must have stopped talking to each other by now. That was at least 5 minutes ago. They didn't seem like the type to make a long call.
Well, I can try tracing it for you. Now, what is your name, ma'am?
Mrs. Stevenson. Mrs. Albert Stevenson.
And your telephone number?
Plaza 42295.
And what is your reason for wanting this call traced?
My reason? Well, for heaven's sake, isn't it obvious? I overhear 2 men. They're killers. They're planning to murder this woman. It's a matter for the police.
Have you told the police?
No, how could I?
You're checking into this call purely as a private individual.
Well, yes, but meanwhile...
Mrs. Stevenson, I seriously doubt whether we can make this check for you at this time, just on your say-so as a private individual. We'd have to have something more official.
Oh, for heaven's sake! You mean to tell me I can't report a murder without getting caught up in all this red tape? Why, that's perfectly idiotic! All right, then I will call the police. Ridiculous.
Your call, please.
The police department, please.
Bring in the police department.
Here's your lunch, son. Sorry we didn't have no jelly donuts, so I brought you French crawlers instead.
Gross. I've got ulcers. Why don't you make it apple pie?
We don't have no apple pie either, son.
Police Department, Precinct 43. Duffy speaking.
Police department, this is Mrs. Stevenson. This is Albert Smith Stevenson of 53 North Sutton, please. I'm calling up to report a murder.
Eh?
Well, I mean, the murder hasn't been committed yet. I just overheard plans for it over the telephone, over a wrong number that the operator gave me. I've been trying to trace the call myself, but everyone's been so stupid, and I guess in the end, you're the only person that could really do anything.
Yes, ma'am.
It was a perfectly definite murder. I heard their plans distinctly. 2 men were talking, and they were planning to murder this woman at 11:15 tonight. She lived in a house near a bridge.
Yes, ma'am.
And there was a private patrolman. He was going to go around for a beer on 2nd Avenue. And there was some third man, a client, who was paid to have this poor woman murdered. And they were going to take her rings and bracelets and use a knife. Well, it's unnerved me dreadfully, and I'm not well.
I see, madam. When was all this?
About 8 minutes ago? Oh, well then you can do something. Do understand.
What's your name, madam?
Mrs. Stevenson. Mrs. Albert Stevenson.
And your address?
53 North Sutton, please. Wait a minute. That's near a bridge. The Queensboro Bridge, you know? And we have a private patrolman on our street. And 2nd Avenue was just right around the corner. I mean...
And what was the number you were calling, madam?
Murray Hill 40098. Well, but I mean, that wasn't the number I overheard. Murray Hill 40098 is my husband's office. He's working late tonight, and I was trying to reach him to ask him to come home. I'm an invalid, you know, and it's the maid's night off, and I just hate to be alone. Though he says I'm perfectly safe as long as I have the telephone right next to my bed.
Well, madam, we'll look into it and check with the telephone company.
But the telephone company said they couldn't check the call for parties that stopped talking. I've already taken care of that.
Yes.
Personally, I feel you ought to do something far more immediate and drastic than just check the call. What good does checking the call do if the parties have stopped talking? By the time you track it down, they already would have committed the murder.
Well, madam, we'll look into it.
I'd say the whole thing calls for a search. A complete and thorough search of the entire city. I'm very near a bridge, and I'm not far from 2nd Avenue, and I know I'd feel a whole lot better if you sent around the radio parts of this neighborhood at once.
Well, madam, what makes you think the murder's going to be committed in your neighborhood?
Well, I don't know. The coincidence is so horrible. 2nd Avenue, the patrolman, the bridge.
2nd Avenue is a very long street, madam. And do you happen to know how many bridges there are in the city near Cologne? Not to mention the Brooklyn, Staten Island, the Queens, and the Bronx. And how do you know there isn't some little house on Staten Island, on some little 2nd Avenue you never heard about? In fact, How do you know they even talking about New York at all?
But I heard the call on the New York dialing system.
Well, why could it be a long distance call you overheard? Telephones are funny things. Why don't you look at it this way, lady? Supposing you hadn't broken in that telephone call, supposing you had gotten your husband the way you always do, would this murder make any difference to you then?
Let's suppose not. But it's so inhuman, so cold-blooded.
Listen, a lot of murders are committed in this city. If we could do something to stop them, we would. But a clue of this kind is so vague. It's no use to expect no clue at all.
But surely there's
Unless, of course, you think this call is funny. Someone's planning to murder you.
Me? Oh no, I hardly think so. I mean, why should anybody... I'm alone all day and night. I see no one except my maid Louise, and she's a big 200-pounder. She's too lazy to bring up my breakfast tray. The only other person is my husband, Albert. He's crazy about me, adores me, waits on me hand and foot. He scarcely left my side since I took 12 years ago.
Well, then there's nothing for you to worry about, is there, Mrs. Stevenson? If you just leave the rest of this to us.
But what will you do? It's so late, it's nearly 11 o'clock.
Madam, we'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Will you broadcast it all over the city and send out squads and warn your radio cars to watch out, especially in suspicious neighborhoods like mine?
Lady, I said this is, we'll take care of it. Just now I got a couple more important matters on my desk.
No! Idiot! Now why did I do that? Now he'll think I am a fool. Albert, why don't you just come home? Why doesn't he?
Your call, please.
Operator, will you dial that Murray Hill 40098 number for me just once more, please? I can't think of what's keeping him so long.
Ringing Murray Hill 498. The line is busy.
I can hear it. You don't have to tell me. I know it's busy. I could just get out of this bed for a while. I could go outside and take a walk in the park. Get a breath of fresh air. Hello, Albert? Hello? Hello? What's the matter with this phone? Hello? 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 Oh, for Pete's sake, who is this? Hello?
Your call, please.
Operator, I don't know what's the matter with this telephone tonight, but it's positively driving me crazy. I've never seen such an inefficient, miserable service. Now look, I'm an invalid and I'm very nervous, and I'm not supposed to be annoyed. If this keeps on much longer, I'm
What seems to be the trouble, madam?
Well, everything's wrong. The whole world could be murdered for all you people care. And now my telephone keeps ringing.
Yes, ma'am.
Ringing and ringing every 5 seconds or so, and when I pick it up, there's no one there.
I'm sorry, if you hang it up, I can test it for you.
I don't want you to test it for me. I want you to put to that call, whatever it is, at once.
I'm afraid that's not possible.
Not possible. And why, may I ask?
The system is automatic. If someone is trying to dial a number, there's no way to check whether the call is coming through the system or not. Unless the person who's trying to call you complains to this particular operator.
Well, of all the stupid, complicated... And meanwhile, I have got to sit here in my bed suffering every time that phone rings. Imagining everything.
I'm sorry, I can't check it for you.
Check it? Check it? That's all anybody can do. Of all the stupid, idiotic... What's the use? Hello? Who is this? What do you want? Answer me! Do you realize you're driving me crazy?
Hello? Is this Plaza 42295?
Yes? Yes, this is Plaza 42295.
Well, this is Western Union, and I have a telegram here for Mrs. Albert Stevenson. Is there anyone there to accept this telegram?
I'm Mrs. Stevenson.
The telegram is as follows. Mrs. Stevenson, 53 North Sutton Place, New York, New York. Darling, terribly sorry. Tried to reach you for last hour, but line busy. Leaving for Boston at 11 p.m. tonight on urgent business. Be home tomorrow afternoon. Keep happy. Love, signed Albert.
Oh, no.
That is all, madam. Do you wish us to send you a copy of the telegram?
No. No, thank you.
Thank you, madam. Good night.
Good night. No. It isn't true. It couldn't. Nobody knows I'll be here all alone. It's some trick. Some fiendish trick.
Hi, your call, please.
Operator, will you dial that Murray Hill 40098 number for me just once more, please?
Murray Hill 4098. Okay, hold on.
Gone. Albert, how could you? How could you? I can't be alone tonight. I can't. If I'm alone for one more second. I don't care what he says or what the expense is. I'm a sick woman. I'm entitled.
Information.
I want the telephone number to Henchley Hospital.
Henchley Hospital. Do you have the address?
No, but it's somewhere in the 70s, though. It's a very small, very private, exclusive hospital. I had my appendix taken out there 2 years ago. Henchley, H-E-N.
One moment, please.
Please hurry. And please, do you have the time?
I don't know, ma'am. You may find out by dialing Meridian 71212.
For heaven's sake,
The number for Henchley Hospital is Butterfield 70105.
Butterfield 70105.
Henchley Hospital, good evening.
Nurses registry.
Who are you wish to speak to, please?
I want the nurses registry at once. I want to hire a trained nurse immediately for the night.
And what is the nature of the case, madam?
Nerves. I'm very nervous. I need soothing, companionship. My husband's away and everything's just going wrong.
What doctor recommended you, sir?
I wasn't recommended by any doctor, but I really don't see why all this hand-housing is necessary. I want a trained nurse. I was a patient in your hospital 2 years ago, and after all, I do expect to pay this person.
Well, we quite understand that, madam, but registered nurses are very scarce just now, and our superintendent has specifically asked us only to send out nurses on cases where a doctor says that it's absolutely necessary.
Well, it is absolutely necessary. I'm a sick woman. I'm very upset, very. I'm alone in this house, and I'm an invalid. Tonight I heard a telephone conversation that has upset me dreadfully about murder. Poor woman's going to be murdered tonight at 11:15. If you don't send someone over here right now, I'm afraid I'll go out of my mind.
I see. Well, I'll speak to Mrs. Phillips as soon as she comes in. And what is your name, madam?
Mrs. Phillips, when do you expect her in?
I don't know, ma'am. She went out for supper at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock? It's not 11 yet. Oh, my clock has stopped. I thought it was running down. Please, what time is it?
Just 14 minutes past 11.
What was that?
What was what?
That clicked just now. In my own telephone? Someone had lifted the hook off the extension downstairs.
Well, I didn't hear it, ma'am. Now,
But I did! Someone in this house. Someone downstairs in the kitchen, and they're listening to me now. They're...
louder.
Oh, I don't dare. Someone listening. Can you hear me now?
Your call, please. What number are you calling, madam?
Please, you've got to hear me. You've got to help me. There's someone in this house. Someone downstairs, and they're going to murder me, and you've got to get in touch with the police. Oh, there it is. He's put it down. He's put down the extension. He's coming. He's coming up the stairs. Give me the police department. The police. No!
Police Department, Sergeant Duffy speaking. Police Department, Sergeant Duffy speaking. Hello?
Sorry. Wrong number. Hi, I'm Dan Willard. I played George the Killer, and I played the lunch counter.
All right, William Gillis II. I played Sergeant Duffy.
Hello, I'm Tashana Mazal, and I was a hospital receptionist.
Hi, my name is Carol Olney, and I was the first and fourth operator.
I'm Yolanda London. I played Mrs. Stevenson.
I'm Mary Roman, I played the third operator.
I'm Mindy Hayes, and I played chief operator and information operator. I'm Cindy, fifth operator. I'm Mariana Carmona, second operator.
I'm Rob Miller. I was the first man and the telegram boy.
Stage crew and Sarah for the sound, so they did a great job.
We've been doing this play for like, God knows how long now.
Second week of school.
And Crystal and Sarah have really been through a lot. I mean, we weren't the easiest cast to work with. And I think we just got these for you guys as a token of our appreciation to say thanks, because it really meant a lot.
It did.